here, Chotto Matte, a fusion restaurant, Japanese and Peruvian, to meet sake expert Barry McCaughley.
First thing to know about sake is what it is. And very simply, sake is brewed like a beer, but it's sold and it's drunk like a wine.
But what do we know about sake? Do we know what's a good one? Do we know what's a bad one? When to drink it, when not to drink it?
In fact, it is a brew like a beer, made from rice instead of grain. And it is sold like a wine. I think that's where the confusion arises. Because in the West, we tend to drink sake like a wine. It's got a similar amount of alcohol. It's often drunk with food, and it's often served in the same type of glassware that we would serve wine in.
Could you make it out of any sort of rice, or does it have to be a specific rice?
The best premium sakes from Japan, like we sell here at Chotto Matte, are made from sakamai rice, which is rice that is specifically developed for sake.
We've got some over here, in fact we've got quite a few, haven't we?
I think the first distinction is the difference between basic rice wine and premium grade sake. The basic level of sake is essentially basic rice wine. It's sake that can be made with any type of rice and often made outside of Japan as well, in places like the USA. Now, premium sake, which is the type of sake that is sold in the best Japanese restaurants around London, that premium sake falls into a variety of different categories. That's where we get names like Junmai and Ginjo and Daiginjo and Onjozo. And these are different styles of sake that people, I think, are starting to recognize.
But today we're looking at the top-end sakes, and
yes.
The first thing I can see is that you've got one which is slightly pink, one which is two that are cloudy, one which is in a lovely blue bottle, looks like a bottled water. Why is that cloudy, why is that clear?
Most sake would be like this, which is basically clear. Okay, so it has quite a water-like consistency. This one looks like it's got a sort of orangey... Yeah, well actually what this is, this started out life totally clear. But it's 10 years old and it's been aged in wood.
But this is lovely and cloudy, and that's...
Well, this is an interesting example. This is something that we found is actually quite popular. Yes, it is cloudy. It is called a nigori. So it's a nigori is the type of style. Now, nigori basically means unfiltered and unpasteurized. So what you've got in there, essentially, is rice.
Is it sparkling?
No.
Is it busy?
No, not at all. It just hasn't been filtered at the end to make it clear.
So let's say I was having fish or sushi.
Yes.
What kind of sake would I go for?
I would go for something like this, which is a Junmai Daiginjo. So Daiginjo relates to the amount of polishing that the grain of rice has to go through before it goes through the fermentation process.
The more polished, the crisper, the cleaner the taste.
Typically that's right, yeah. So with a higher level of polishing, you get a sake with more elegance, more aromatics, more floral, melony characters on the nose, and actually more expensive.
So £50 a bottle in a restaurant?
Well, in a restaurant this is about 75, I think, which would be a fairly modest price for a Junmai Daiginjo. We've got another Junmai Daiginjo here, which sells for about £350.
Wow. What's the main styles of sake?
Something like this, Dasai 39. 39 denotes the amount of polishing. So what that says is...
Not 1939.
No. What that says is there's 39% of the grain of rice left before the fermentation process starts.
How would you enjoy these sakes? Would you drink them warm, cold? How would you...
I think it's important to know that most sake is drunk cold. Most sake is drunk chilled. Very little is actually drunk warm.
So which one are we
This
trying?
is the Azure.
And is there any particular way of drinking it? Is there a...
Well, first and foremost, I have to pour for you.
Yeah.
And you have to pour for me.
Very nice. I like that. It's a sharing.
Yeah. So this is served chilled.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a quick sniff, it's very, very clean. You're getting a sort of jasmine rice note off the top. Slightly floral.
It is, it's floral, but a little bit peachy too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of peach fruit, a little bit of melon fruit on there.
It's not like anything I've drunk before.
It's unlike any other alcoholic beverage.
I mean, I know you're a big fan of sake and food, because I know you say that sake is better with food than wine, which I find hard to believe. But
and I'm going to annoy all the sommeliers out there, but I'm a wine guy originally.
Yeah.
And sake matches food better than wine. Full stop.
Do you do cheers? You don't do that in Japan?
Kanpai.
Kanpai?
Yes.
Kanpai.
Yes. So this is a cocktail. This is actually one of Chotto Matte's best-selling cocktails. One of the originals that was on the first list we put together here.
And how many versions did it take?
There were hundreds. Hundreds of
okay.
this. The basic mix is Junmai Daiginjo sake. Something like the Dasai 39 we tried before.
Yeah, so very, very clean.
Very clean,
perfumed.
aromatic flavours. Yeah. We've paired that with Saint-Germain Elderflower liqueur.
Yes.
And in this case, Monkey 47 gin, which is a...
How many botanicals in there?
47 botanicals.
Wow.
47% alcohol. And one of the most complex of all gins. And a very, very highly rated and award-winning gin.
And what else goes into it?
A squeeze of lemon, and that's it.
Perfect.
It's shaken and then placed into a coupette with an edible flower. Tell me what you think.
That is the best cocktail I've ever tasted. And that is no lie. It is so pure, so refreshing. Wow. Oh, it goes on and on.
We've got something else for you here.
Yeah,
this is called the Quattro Uvas, which is basically means 4 grapes. And what we have in here, this is like a perfect blend here at Chotto Matte between Peruvian and Japanese, which are our 2 core influences. So the Japanese is the sake, which is in here. The Peruvian is Pisco,
yes.
which is a grape distillate. Tell me what you think. No edible flowers for you this time.
No edible flowers, no. Again, really refreshing, very clean and fruity, as you say. I'm going back to the flower one.
You go back to the flower.
I just think this is amazing. Kanpai.
Kanpai.
The future is sake.
And cocktails.
Lovely.